Wow, wow, wow. What a finish to the Arsenal West Ham game tonight. A 1-0 win for Arsenal, now heading, I believe, 5 points clear ahead of Manchester City, now heading into only 2 games left for them and 3 for Manchester City. But wow, what a finish. A very controversial finish tonight with the last few minutes being a whole problem with Callum Wilson's goal and what was happening with David Raya and Adrian, and I believe his name was Adrian. The guy was fouling Ryan, everything. Very, very controversial win. In my opinion, not controversial at all, obviously, as you guys can tell. But regardless from that, what a way for these last few games to close off for Arsenal and for the Premier League as a whole. Overall, I found it to be a, a, a mid game. At first, I feel like Arsenal was controlling well. We were doing what we needed to do. But at some point, West Ham was really, really getting the shots in, and I think that's what even made this game close in the first place. Trossard and a few players that have been lacking this season did come and show out, and I think today was solidified how good of a goalkeeper David Raya is, that he should possibly even be starting at the World Cup for Spain, which I think is debatable between him and Joan Garcia. I'll probably give it to Joan Garcia, but regardless from that, I think he showed the levels of goalkeeping he has, how world class he is truly. I think certain players did show strengths. Other people didn't live up to expectations as usual. I'm talking about Saka, but regardless from that, it was for me as a fan a very, very tense game, as we know we needed these points going forward, and we were able to get the job done, but on a very, very narrow timing. Now overall, I think again, West Ham did put a very good up match, and since they're struggling to find wins, but they need these wins to avoid relegation with their tight battle against Tottenham. Even Tottenham fans were relieved for us today. They really needed us to win, and at least for both sides of London, this helped today. But overall, I think, again, Raya really showed his quality. Gabriel and Saliba, again, holding it down. There was a lot of yellow cards being thrown out the way, and even some West Ham players, a lot of controversial things today. But first, I want to give some props to some West Ham players that I thought played exceptional today regardless. Mateus Fernandez needs to move to another club for sure, regardless of if West Ham stay up or not. I think Mateus Fernandez showed quality today. It might have not been one of his best performances, but overall, like football, I'll give him a 7.2. I think it was exceptional. What a match for Mateus Fernandez today. Even Somerville also showed some quality on the ball today. He was progressing the ball up very, very much well. So I think that was one of the better things that helped today. Diouf, I think, was he offered his attack sometimes, and it was defending well, but I think the main standouts for today, regardless, were Mateus Fernandez and Somerville. They did show quality. Castellanos, again, had a few shots on target. But again, as expected, Arsenal did have, like always, not world-class performance today, I'd say. But sadly, Ben White went out with injury. They put in Zubamendi, which I, in the moment, thought was very odd. I was like, what is Arteta really thinking? Because we have, obviously, Mosquera. And Zubamendi was put in so he could run in as a CDM where Declan Rice was, and Rice would move to the right back spot. And I think that's really where the game got blown out of the way for us, and West Ham really, really did start attacking. They were attacking from all fronts, and that flaw within those minutes showed a lot. I think it was good to see Lewis Skelly, regardless, starting again in center mid. I think he really much did take that spot from Zubamendi, and that's why we saw Zubamendi get taken off in minute 76. I think Lewis Skelly still offers that versatility that sometimes you can't see in other players. But regardless, Ben White going out is a very big down for Arsenal, especially heading into these last few fixtures and the Champions League coming up on May 30th. I think that's a very big flaw. We'll see what happens with that, whether Jurriën Timber comes back or Mosquera is going to be starting. That was in itself, it is a very big problem now for Arsenal regardless, but they are comfortable enough now with a 5-point lead with only one game in hand for Manchester City. And yeah, I believe they have Burnley and Crystal Palace left, so these should be games that are must wins for Arsenal regardless, are expected wins for Arsenal regardless. Saka, again, I think didn't show his best. I would say, showed out better, but regardless of that, Saka, I expect big moments from him, especially in tight games like these. This is where he really solidifies himself as a team leader and as a star for Arsenal at the end of the day. And that's what Leandro Trossard showed for us. After between half the season, he has been lacking a little bit, but I think Trossard did show his level. And even with the goal today, me personally, even when I saw Nani Madueke get subbed in, I think that did show the level that of eagerness to attack, regardless, that Nani offers sometimes. Oftentimes he can also lose the ball very much, or even send some wide passes. But he was, since he got subbed in, just attacking, and precisely after 2-3 attacks, Leandro Trossard was found right in the middle and smashed that home for Arsenal to give the lead. Gyökeres, I think, did play all right. But yeah, Martin Odegaard for me was the big standout, was what was necessary, the spark that was needed regardless. As Odegaard, for even the goal, he was the one that brought it in. And I think Odegaard is, these last few games, really stepped it up in sense of being a leader and offering the creativity that we do lack a lot of times in the midfield. So I think Martin Odegaard for me was one of the best players on the pitch overall in all senses. And yeah, regardless, I think most of the subs were good. Christian Mosquera, Odegaard, Havertz, Nani Madueke, they all did come in and really provide what we were missing most of the match. But yeah, just going forward, I think to speak on the whole moment, I think it was a clear foul. I don't know why there is any bias. Obviously, I know there's this constant hatred and wanting Arsenal to lose this league, as it's been, and we've been known to bottle the league. But no place whatsoever. I've seen Goldbridge react to this. Mark Goldbridge, very disappointed in his reaction, especially since he listens to Neville so much and he had a completely different reaction. I think this is a foul anywhere, anytime. And I know there's the criticism of Arsenal attacking goalkeepers and their set pieces and their corners. I think it was very much different regardless, though. If we even really look at the image, I think, and if we look at this right here in this instance, I think it's clear that this is a very much, it's very much different to what people are calling Arsenal to do half the time. As you can see, this guy's arm is completely across David Raya's body. This guy's hands up, so it's like if you're putting a pole across him. And as you can see, the ball slips right through his hands. David Raya is known as a goalkeeper that will always catch that ball when it's coming from the corners. We've seen it countless times throughout many seasons now, that he is exceptional in these corners to get either the ball cleared or to catch it. It's just common sense when you look at this. He catches the ball, but because of this hand restricting him, and as you can see right here, his arm gripping onto it now, the ball slips right out of his hands. That is a clear-cut foul. I remember seeing on the other angle, I don't know if it shows it here. On the other angle, it shows Todibo also tugging on David Raya's shirt. That's a clear-cut foul. I don't know whatsoever why people are calling this a robbery in any which way, that this is a given league, that this got robbed, that this is it can possibly be a title deciding moment. But regardless of that, that is a foul. I think, obviously, as it's been spoken throughout the whole season, and me even watching the games, not trying to be biased or anything, there has been a lack of a lot of instances in the refereeing in the Premier League this season. It's been controversial in all types of games, whether it's Arsenal or Manchester City or Chelsea or United or Tottenham, any team, Liverpool, any team. This is a problem in a lot of the officiating. I'm not here to completely blame the refs. I think this was a fantastic call from him today. Fantastic call. And yeah, I think that's a foul every day. No questions asked. I know obviously you see this and you're like, okay, well obviously this guy's just gonna say this and that. But regardless from that, that's a clear-cut foul. I don't understand in what sense whatsoever that wasn't a foul. I don't think we've seen a single moment this season. I think the closest thing I can think of is when Arsenal played Manchester United at the start of the season. But even then, to this day, I don't think that was a foul. I think there was a little tug, but I don't think it is anywhere near to the level that was shown in the game today on David Raya's foul. Not close whatsoever. So this narrative, again, that Arsenal and the refs, I don't even know why this makes any sense. I don't know. Like, I actually don't understand this narrative at all, to be honest. To be completely honest. But aside from that, this game was not robbed. I think this was a must-win, and I'm glad it got done. Obviously, that goal when it went in for West Ham, I was like, wow, there's no way this just happened. Because the sigh of relief I had when Trossard put the ball in the back of the net was immense. Because that whole time I'm like, okay, time is coming up, time is coming up. If Arsenal do not get this goal here, it's going to be extremely close in the title race now. And these are games you cannot drop points in whatsoever. And we've seen it. Arsenal has happened for the last 4 years. In these last few games where it's must-need wins, where you cannot even draw the game. And we've seen either us lose or tie the games. This was a must-win, and I think it was very, very much something that had to happen in match day 36. Now only 2 games left for us. This was crucial, very much crucial moment for the whole title-deciding season. I think from this moment on, though, regardless, we could see it in our Arteta celebration and in the team. The Premier League is ours. There is no way whatsoever, I believe, at all, 0% chance in my eyes, that Arsenal can bottle this league now, regardless if it's Burnley, which we know is Burnley already a relegated team, and I believe at home. And then an away game at Crystal Palace, which is still London. I think very much this is Arsenal's title this season and upcoming for the Champions League. Hopefully this team can get fit enough, whether Ben White's out or not, whether Marino and Timber are even going to have the opportunity to play in the final. I don't know, but regardless, I think this was a very crucial game for Arsenal to win. A very sad game, obviously, for West Ham to lose, as now the table is looking very, very much different for them. Let's just check that out real quick. Yeah, now we are 5 points clear with only 1 game in hand for Manchester City. Obviously, they do have more. They have 4 more goals, but we have less conceded. The head-to-head won't happen if we lose a game. And West Ham are in a very, very tricky spot. 2 games left for them, and they're at 36 points. Tottenham has 3 games left, and they're at 37. I don't even know who Tottenham versus. But regardless, that was a very bad game, obviously, for West Ham to lose. They could possibly be heading down to the championship now. But overall, a very tense game, I would say overall. Very, very tense game, and just looking forward to the next few games, whether it's Burnley, Crystal Palace, and the Champions League final. Come on, you Gunners. We got this in the bag. I trust Mikel Arteta. Props to Mikel Arteta. Even though he had a little mistake today with the Zubimendi substitute. This has been a long time coming, and I'm very much proud to be a fan of this team since 2015. It's a blessing to finally see them win a proper trophy since I was born. And yeah, Jesus Christ loves you guys.